was that you were trying to share? Because that looked pretty awesome.
Yours are actually kind of old.
Oh, from Ruby. The RWBY. Oh, you got the full set. That's right.
No, I don't have the full
Oh,
set.
you
That's
don't?
the problem. I'm missing Vice.
Time to fix that.
Yeah, do you have Vice?
No, I don't,
Because
sadly.
that'll round out my set.
I'm sure we can all find it somewhere. Hey, everybody, and welcome to From My Mother's Basement, the show that celebrates being a geek. I'm Jason.
And I am the other geek, Michael.
So we are back after another week, and it is... Yeah. Those of you who were hanging out for the pre-show, I was introducing Michael to a comedian called Tim Minchin, so...
Yes.
So
almost Tom Lehrer-esque about it.
Almost, yeah. But, I've been trying to fight this whatever thing is, so if you see me start drinking tea or whatnot, I mean, yes, it's a frozen cup, but still, it doesn't matter.
I would have been shocked if it wasn't, to be honest with you.
Okay, fine. All right, Michael, what have you been up to the past week?
Healing. I spent 3 days on a couch because of I injured my arm. So
Fun.
yeah, steroid injections. Oh boy. But it gave me a chance to catch up on stuff and get introduced to new series. So I have been doing a lot of that. We'll talk about that when we get to the what you've been watching segment, which will probably be longer than usual this time around.
That's perfectly fine.
What about you, Jason, aside from fighting the cold?
Aside from fighting this damn cold, I've literally just been looking and drooling at all the tech and all the announcements that came out of CES.
Oh my God, CES had some awesome stuff. Let's see. The other things going on this week, and we'll just go ahead and say this and get this out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
All the crap that's going on in France right now, and now Germany.
Yeah.
My little wannabe journalist heart is screaming at the moment.
Here, Michael, soapbox, go for it.
No, it's just. Gee, thanks, asshole. A lot of people were like, somebody made a very valid comment that the stuff that Charlie Hebdo. Okay, for those of you who don't know, there's a French satire magazine called Charlie Hebdo that wouldn't be published in the States if what these guys published in their quote unquote satire magazine was published in the States. They'd be shut down for hate speech.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, they were equal opportunity hate speech. They hated everybody.
Yep.
And they had been posting satirical comments about Muslims and specifically Muhammad, and somebody decided to go in the place and shoot them all up this week. It kind of saddens me that France has better free speech laws than the United States. Because I may not agree with what they said, and what they said I think sucks. I think a lot of what they said was borderline hate speech. But you know what? I'll defend to the death the right for them to say it.
I agree.
I may not like it. In fact, I may find it absolutely disgusting. But you know what? How can I expect to say whatever I want if I won't let somebody else say whatever they want? Within the limits of it doesn't harm anybody physically, and it's not like shouting fire in a movie theater. Oh God, that's my own little soapbox over. You gotta defend the icky speech, as Neil Gaiman put it.
Yeah, that's a way to put it.
Neil Gaiman, somebody reposted Neil Gaiman's answer on that because he actually did like a 5 or 6 page treatise basically on why we have to defend quote unquote icky speech. It's look it up. It's definitely
I'll have to look it up. Okay. But aside from that, because
aside from that, sorry.
No worries.
Over.
That's been a pretty messed up bit of news.
Yeah, especially for anyone who's into the news, as far as from the backside of things, and wannabe journalists everywhere. It's oh my God.
Yeah.
But it's particularly sensitive because one of the things I got stuck watching this week. So we'll talk about that and what you've been watching. But CES, back to CES and more pleasant things.
Because CES,
we had really cool stuff coming out of CES, and we had really what the F stuff.
Well, yes. Go for it.
It's good. You do have it in there. I was wondering about that. Where do you want to start on this? Because there's smart everything.
Yeah, well, let's just jump in on that. Samsung
Skynet is here.
Yes, literally, because Samsung, during one of their 2 keynotes, started to talk about the whole, as they're trying to make a new buzzword, the Internet of Things. Everything.
It's not their word, actually. It's been around for a while.
They're just banking on it.
Yeah, I think they're the ones that are trying to own it. But
Mm-hmm. I mean, we've always seen stuff here and there about how you can control your lights in your house, or you can create a little home security system,
well,
or
Time Warner and a lot of the cable companies have been advertising that forever. AT&T did the same thing.
exactly. But now you get the thing where your washer and dryer are connected to your network. So is your stove, your microwave, your faucets. I mean,
Your freaking coffee maker,
everything is
your
connected.
fridge. Although the fridge one's kind of cool because there's a couple of them for the fridge that will actually take pictures of the inside. I mean, now technically this technology's been around for I want to say 8 years,
Mm-hmm.
but now it's actually starting to take hold where it'll actually take a picture of the inside of your fridge, do a quick analysis of what's there
Mm-hmm.
based on algorithms, tell you what's in your fridge, and tell you when you need to replace it.
Which is very, very helpful.
Which is and there's one that'll do it as a full screen on the front of the door.
Mm-hmm.
So you go, okay, the milk is on third shelf over to the left, or whatever.
I forget who had it, but they had this smart cutting board that you would sync to your tablet. And
Okay, that's what I want. What the F? That's one of those what the
dude,
F posts.
I like that idea for the sole fact that a cutting board would not only be able to sync with my tablet or my phone and whatnot and tell me how much I need of each ingredient for
Talking about for weighing it, or
weigh it. It'll tell you how much do you need for each ingredient. It gets a little kind of crazy when they have the add-on where it's a robot chef, but all that is basically a robot arm with a spatula at the end of it that just stirs. That's still a few more years out before that gets
I was gonna say the adult film industry's had that for a while.
But yeah, it just looks like everyone's trying to get their own network.
Well, I mean, for crying out, the silliest. Okay, well, okay, let's go there. You know what mine is, so let's see what yours is and see if we're in agreement. Of all of this crap that was shown at CES this year, what to you is the most WTF?
The most WTF. Mine isn't really necessarily like, why did they create this kind of design or this product, but how they designed it, because it is so awful. So there was this company that spent a crap load of money to get the booth right next door to Oculus VR. They're called 3D Head, and they had this giant thing on the side of their booth. Let me pull this up here for you, saying all they could do all these cool things: play PC without mouse and keyboard, tracks your head and body, it's completely immersive. And then that second to the top up there says Oculus Killer. Now, we've all seen the Oculus VR. We've talked about it several times on the
Rift,
show. Yeah. Well, when you try to talk about something that's going to kill that, this is the last thing I was considering. Considering this is what they're making. This is 3D Head's GCS3 headset. They're trying to create it like a miniature personal theater. That thing is huge.
What the fuck's it weigh?
Right now, this demo version, 1.7 pounds, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when it's on your head, that is incredibly heavy.
Yeah, totally. Not to mention awkward as hell. I mean, you'd have to counterbalance that thing, and
yeah. And here's the thing, though. The screen is not really anything fantastic. It's literally like a 7-inch tablet that's slapped in there. It's not even 3D. It does head tracking, but it's a 2D screen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hence the no headaches line. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Here's the other part about it. This thing costs $600. When you can get a dev kit for the Oculus Rift
for $350.
Yeah, if not cheaper if you buy like the Gen 1 version. But yeah, this for lack of a better phrase, this is not the Oculus Killer you're looking for.
No, it's not, but it sounds like the great start for a mecha costume.
Oh man. Yeah, when I saw this, I was just scratching my head.
Somebody's got delusions of grandeur there.
Yeah, they did. What about you, Michael? What was the most WTF thing for you?
The weirdest WTF thing I heard about from CES this year, I originally heard about it as a joke. There's this NPR news show called Wait, Don't Tell Me, which is it's kind of like a game show, sort of. in the sense of kind of like At Midnight is a game show, um, but it's been around for years and years and years. And they had this thing where they try and stump the listener, where they give them three stories, news stories, and they have to guess which one's right.
Mm-hmm.
And there were three stories. The three stories given were supposedly items created at CES, and they had to determine which one was real. The three items given were a self-adjusting belt that expands or loosens depending on how much you eat, or contracts depending on how much weight you lose and how active you are. The second one was a device that will help black men, or excuse me, African Americans, people of color, I think it was used at one point in the description, to hail a cab by casting a realistic projection, holographic projection, just in front of the individual, of a woman holding a baby, which was also holding a puppy, while the woman was trying to hail a cab. The third one was a device, a smartphone, smart app device thing that was designed to help people who are socially inept, for lack of a better term,
Okay.
by listening to their conversations as they're doing them in real time, running it through some algorithm, and kicking back, talking in their ear, saying, I think you look good today, or the weather is great, or I'm feeling really anxious, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And of those three, I thought number three was the most realistic concept, because number two, holographic technology is not that good, though it's kind of an awesome thought.
Yes.
The one that it actually was the damn belt. It's called Belty, and it's a real, honest to God device that automatically, depending on how much exercise you do, how much you eat, will expand or contract accordingly.
I wish you
what
would get
the
it.
F? I don't. Why do we need this? We're already.
For the fat ass in your life, please get the Belty.
What size does Belty go up to? Because I guarantee you, the guy that was wearing that belt in that picture
is not the target audience.
32-inch waist.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, what the hell? I wish it had been the hologram, because I thought that was actually kind of awesome.
Oh, that would have been hilarious. That would have been great. Yeah, here's the thing though. They claim
a Fitbit for your waist. There you go.
Here's the sad part about all of this. This Belty is they still say it's still in its prototype stage, but out of the small amount of prototypes they had available for sale on their website, they already sold out. Which,
oh yeah,
really?
Oh God, do I want to go down this road?
I mean, there are
do
so
I
many...
want to go down, Jason? Do I want to go down this road?
Yes, you do. Go.
Be careful how you program it, lest you end up copying David Carradine and the lead singer of NXS.
Well played.
But I could see idiots doing that.
I could totally see idiots doing that.
Okay, don't get me wrong. I love this country. This is my home country. I really, really love this country. But God, we have stupid people in this country.
Yes, we do.
And I could see some moron doing that.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go
but in the non-WTF department, we had some really, really cool things. I mean, like you said, we had smart homes everywhere. Of course, we had TVs. There were more curved displays out this year.
Yes, and I'm actually happy for that, because of the sole fact that the curved screen phenomena is actually finally shrunk down to the desktop monitor market.
I saw one this week.
Like when you get stuff like this from Samsung, which is
there's that
sexy as hell.
Their LG's got one out in Fry's, is where I saw it.
Oh, seriously?
In Fry's. It's a 4K curved screen from LG. It was beautiful. Oh my God. It wasn't $1,300 beautiful, but it was beautiful.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
I would love to put one of those right here, and then I'd still have my 24 inches off to the side, and just run my games on that sucker.
Oh, you know how nice that would be?
Oh yeah.
Oh, so nice. I look at it as
One of these. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying we just have to wait like a generation for not
Oh
even
yeah,
that for
yeah.
it to,
Give it a
for it
year
to
or
go
two, and these
down.
prices will drop
Because
dramatically.
remember when Seiki last year came out with their 50-inch 4K TV for less than $1,000,
Uh-huh.
and people were like tempted as all hell to get it, and many people actually did. Well, now look at what you can get now.
Isn't Samsung throwing, or no, Vizio was talking about throwing one out, I think,
Vizio has
for
three.
under 800.
Has three out for under 800, 4K, 50-inch or larger. I know Samsung that they had a deal for Black Friday, which was a 55-inch 4K display, gorgeous screen. I've seen it in person, and that was going for like $850. And I was just like, no.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just a matter of time, and it will kick through. The other thing, one of the demos, not just looking at the game capabilities of this thing, one of the demos they had on the LG that I saw was they brought up Adobe Premiere Pro, and they had 3 windows running full HD res, and your timeline down here. So, I mean, like, had an effects window, a program, and a preview. And I was looking at that going, God, I was just drooling my little heart out.
Oh, yes.
Oh, man.
But,
so, yeah, no, the monitors, like you said, 1 or 2 years, and the prices is going to drop dramatically.
Oh, yeah.
To the point where we'll be able to start doing it.
And of course, all the major TV manufacturers are already showcasing their next generation stuff. Samsung with their SUHD thing.
What's the res on that one?
It's still 4K, but it's supposed to be like a better, crisper image quality or whatnot. Although I will say this, though. There was an announcement at CES this year that I was thankful to hear. It was, I believe, during the Sony conference that they went out and stated they've created a UHD alliance with a number of TV manufacturers and content makers like Disney and Warner Bros. And whatnot.
Yeah, because until people start throwing out the content, what's the point?
Exactly.
Though there is a station in Japan that's doing it.
Yes, it's a subsidiary of NHK, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So with this one, though, with this alliance, they basically want to skip what happened with the first generation of Blu-ray discs, where everyone had their own proprietary
they want everybody to agree and go with the same path.
Exactly. Now, because they're only just talking right now, there's nothing guaranteed. But the fact that all these companies are at the same table talking is a very good thing. So I would hope by the end of this year there would be a set standard format, codec and whatnot that can be used for.
I think it's going to happen. And what's funny is there's a lot of content carriers that are going to be at the table on this too, because Netflix is already offering some of their stuff to stream in 4K. You better have some ass-kicking bandwidth for it.
Seriously.
But I mean, some of the content providers, or the content carriers rather, are I mean, like I said, Netflix is doing it. I don't want to. Was it Apple? No, there was one other that was doing it.
Google has 4K available on YouTube.
Okay, yeah, so that's right. It was Google. So between YouTube and Netflix, it ain't going away.
No, it's not at all.
And I'm kind of okay with that, except for the fact that again, you need the super high bandwidth. Maybe that'll be enough to finally kick the FCC and the cable companies to laying all the fiber they've been threatening to lay forever and a day. We might catch up.
Google's
to the rest of the world.
been lobbying Congress left, right, and center, especially the FCC, regarding that, because if they change internet service to a Type 2 service, so it's actually regulated by the government, then that'll allow Google to actually have access to all the telephone poles and power lines and whatnot. And it'll allow them to be able to spread their fiber much faster, which I'm all for. I would love to have Google Fiber in a heartbeat.
Well, Plus, that's probably the only way we're going to get true net neutrality.
Exactly.
Because, I mean, for crying out loud, the new head of the FCC is a former
lobbyist for Comcast.
Former lobbyist for Comcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not the fox guard in the hen house at all.
Yeah.
I mean, it's... Yeah, no, I agree. This is one of those rare occasions where I think regulation needs to kick in. But then again, I'm also the same person that thinks they need to repeal the stupid thing. Not Taft-Hartley, what was it? They need to replace the Fair Reporting Act too.
Yes.
So,
yes, they do. I will say this though: there was actually there were several surprise announcements. The one that actually caught me off guard was actually from Dish TV. I was real surprised by this. They started mentioning they were working on this a couple years ago, and we heard nothing since until this CES, where Dish came out and announced a product called Sling TV. And this is actually fairly cool, and it's surprising for it to happen from a satellite, distributor like
Is this an
Dish Network.
this one I missed actually? Is it an offset? Is it
This
like
is
Slingbox or?
this is their long rumored internet TV service. Now get this. So it's a US only internet based TV package for now. And they're offering access to over 200 international channels and local. Now, granted, your local channels like NBC, Fox, and whatnot, you have to get over the air using an HD antenna. But they have all the ESPNs, Cartoon Network, Travel Channel, Food Network, ABC Family, Disney Channel, Maker Channel. They have all these channels in this internet IPTV package.
How much?
$20 a month.
No way for everything.
$20 a month. That's the basic package.
Man, I just cut the cord. Yeah, don't make me reattach it.
No. But this is IPTV. You literally pay $20. They send you basically a modified version of a Sling box, and you have access to all this.
I wonder how long it'll be before they integrate something like that into the existing boxes, like say the Apple TV or the
Roku. I wouldn't be surprised if that actually happens.
Because I just got an Apple TV for Christmas, damn it, and I'm loving it.
Because here's the thing, though, you'll like about this because the Sling the television bit. You can either use a Sling TV box, or you can use apps for iOS, Android, Amazon Fire, Fire TV Stick, Nexus Player, Xbox One, Roku's, and LG and Samsung Smart TVs. You download the app, you pay $20 a month, you have 200 channels.
So do you think they'll port it over to Apple TV as well?
I would say yes, given the sole fact that they already have it set up for iOS devices. It's only a matter of time.
True. Apple TV doesn't operate on iOS, so
they also allow it to work via Mac and PC. So
I think I may have to go look at this. When are they looking to launch it?
Right now, it is invite only. You can go to their website and sign up to be on their mailing list, which I have. There are several people I already know who actually got into it already.
Mm-hmm.
There are some caveats to it. Things like, especially with just ESPN, if you wanted to watch like the football games or whatnot, you can't. You have to due to a contract issues.
Right, contract limitations with NHL.
Some channels allow you to pause, rewind live TV.
NFL, right.
Other channels do not let you do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, there are some caveats, but this is for our first outing into something like this with a big company like Dish backing it. It's very impressive.
Well, and it's going to be really interesting because it's going to if they get away with it, if they do it and they stick with it at that price point, Comcast and Time Warner and who's the other one? There's Comcast, Time Warner. Who's the other one? Either way, they're all going to be like freaking the F out because they won't be able to charge $120 for
exactly
all this crap anymore.
Because at that point, you can turn around and say, okay, cut everything. Just give me internet service. I have everything else to take care of all my
that's what we've got
needs.
right now.
Yeah.
Because we basically told Time Warner, screw it. We just want internet.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give us anything else. We got a dry line. And they're not happy about it, but they gave it to us. And our cable bill dropped dramatically in half.
I do like the fact with this Sling TV is that there's not like a 2-year contract. You can cancel online anytime. It's basically a month-to-month service,
which is good. That's good. That's
so
$20 a month for however many hundred channels. If the quality is there, are they streaming HD?
Yes.
Okay, if that quality's there and they can maintain it, more power to them.
The only other caveats right now is that there's only like one stream available per account. So if you have like multiple TVs and you want to watch 2 different shows at the same time, you have to have 2 different accounts. But for many people, that's not going to be a problem.
Yeah, that shouldn't be an issue. Oh, the other ones I was thinking are Charter and AT&T and Cox.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Sega Fan and everybody, and Verizon, I suppose, has their own thing too.
So I could easily imagine that Dish TV will turn around and set this up to a couple different tiers. I'm sure that you'll start with the basic tier of $20, and then if you want some additional channels, a la carte.
Well, are they? They're not. I guarantee you, they're not including any of the movie channels in that.
No, but they're including a built-in movie rental service, a la Netflix style.
Okay.
So.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
I think it'd be really cool. I want to see it come into its adulthood, though.
Yes, very much.
I mean,
so.
The fact that IPTV and on-demand video has come a long way since 2000, back when I worked for a company called Entertainer, which was one of the first streaming companies.
Yes. And
it's amazing to see where it's grown to today, and the fact that we're getting all this 4K stuff, and people are streaming 4K, and this is now we got this Sling TV. The only thing else I need is a drone.
And thankfully at
How's that
CES,
for a crappy segue?
hey, it worked. I liked it. And if you wanted drones, oh my god, there were so many at CES this year.
Oh, totally.
Of all different shapes and sizes and designs, and from little tiny ones that are the size of your phone that are just for fun, to ones that could do long distance missions if you really wanted it to.
There's one I saw that was I forget who who made it, but it was about 2 by 2 feet, carried a 4K camera and broadcast in 4K
Ooh, that's nice.
in real time.
It
was
so nice.
Impressive. And they were flying this thing around. So the guy and it's got built-in stabilizers on it. So the camera's on a gimbal. And then the drone itself has got built-in stabilizers. And they're flying it in circles around this guy, and it was perfectly level the whole time around.
So nice.
Beautiful.
I will say though that Intel had some of the more impressive tech in terms of drones at CES this year. Their big thing right here was this, focusing on their RealSense technology. That's that bank of sensors on the top of the sorry, the drone on in front of it. So it's a combination of some camera hardware, and what's nice about this is it's able to recognize in real time its location, what's around it. So literally, if it was about to bump into something or something was coming at it and whatnot, it would recognize that and be able to react accordingly in real time. On stage, they showcased this drone, and then had about 4 or 5 people rushing up to it every once in a while, kind of almost like playing like hacky sack with it without even touching it. And it just kept on bouncing back and forth between people. People can control it with their hands, act like they're going to hold it, and it would actually react to that gesture.
What are they powering it with? Their Galileo?
I'm not 100% sure on that aspect.
Okay.
But I look at it this way, is that the other thing aside from the RealSense bit that they were talking about was this whole follow me technology, which kind of ties into this, where you can launch a drone and do some command or whatnot or via GPS on your phone or something to recognize, its owner or what to track, and then it will just follow you at like a set height behind you or in front of you, whatever you want it at, and you can just run around, you can play soccer, and it will just track you the whole time and follow you.
If that thing goes fast enough, have that thing track you on my motorcycle, that'd be awesome.
Come on, it'd be so cool. Like if you were stuck in traffic, which we all know it sucks, but you can't see what's going on. You open up the sunroof, you throw up the drone, you take a look what's going on, it comes back down.
Yeah, that's not gonna be ruled out of legality anytime soon.
See, that's the whole problem right now, is that the FAA has all these upcoming regulations mandated by Congress about drones in particular, especially commercial drones. So I'm hoping that with Intel's RealSense technology, about how it can now recognize its own area and hopefully limit the number of accidents or crashes midair, maybe they'll pull back on these regulations a bit.
Well, I don't know. I doubt. I mean, they're not even sure where to go with those regulations, though, because they have to. I mean, I know that already. I want to say within a quarter mile of any airport is supposed to be a no-fly zone for drones. Even those little personal, teeny little ones you got, you're not supposed to legally fly them within quarter mile of any airport. Which I can see the logic in that.
Yeah, same here.
Which kind of shoots Amazon's drone delivery service in the foot, but
yeah. Well, then again, that's gonna be several years away. So hopefully Amazon can lobby some people enough to change all that. Because I want drones to deliver all my stuff in 1 hour delivery.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Well, Amazon did announce a 1 hour delivery in select cities right now.
Well, yeah, but
could you imagine having it with a drone? That'd be amazing.
Thank you for your cooperation.
Now, speaking of drones, there's a company called DJI. They have some of the best drones out there right now. They're amazing. And
they're the ones who made the 4K drone.
It was the Inspire 1. That's what they called that drone that had the 4K camera that was broadcasting. Well, they have this really epic gimbal, to put the camera on the drone itself. Well, they decided as a side project to wonder, you know what? What if we just take that gimbal and that camera and make it handheld?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So this thing, I'm kind of liking this.
It's like the ultimate mini Steadicam.
Exactly. It uses the same gimbal, same stabilizer. and this attached to a hand grip mount. It can connect to your phone, whether it be iOS or Android, and it's a small handheld 4K camera, similar to GoPro, but much more in terms of
Resolution.
yeah.
GoPro doesn't do 4K. That's pretty. That's kind of like bizarre at the same time, but pretty spiffy.
Yeah. Unfortunately, like I said, this is just a prototype, so they haven't announced whether or not it will become a full product, and if it does, how much. But honestly, imagine having something like that walking through like a convention floor instead of a giant camera.
So I was thinking like crowd shots, convention floors, concerts. That has the potential to be really cool.
It's these little things here and there that are like, hey, this was cool technology in this aspect. Let's use it in a different format, and it just becomes, wow, why didn't I think about that before, kind of thing.
Well, that and give the maker folks time with it. And,
oh, jeez, could you imagine?
Yeah, I can actually.
It'd be amazing, absolutely amazing.
And hack all the things. It's
well, with CES in general, you get some really cool stuff like that you didn't think of before, but it looks pretty cool. To all the way down to the Belty. So,
yeah, exactly. You got to have your spectrum.
yeah. Although I do have to say that CES seems to be more and more heading more towards smart cars.
There was a larger presence of smart cars this year, but I don't think it'll ever go to. I don't think it'll become CES Automotive Show, although there may be a spinoff at this rate.
Yeah.
But some of the stuff they introduced, like the BMW car that parked itself.
Yeah, with their new sensor technology that tried to crash this car, and under their certain their very strict guidelines, you couldn't.
Exactly.
So that was cool. I do have to say,
Move
though,
over Marshmallow Bumper Bot. It's you heard about that, right?
Yes. Although I have to say about this for Mercedes-Benz, because they actually had one of the keynotes there at CES.
Really?
And they were showcasing this.
Ooh, pretty.
So this is a just 100 completely autonomous concept car.
Oh, is that the one? Is that the one that's completely sealed that you can change the scenery on the inside?
Yes.
I never saw the outside.
The four seats in there, basically they face each other. Has all this futuristic Tron style, interior and whatnot. But the whole thing's supposed to be able to guide itself using mostly stuff that's available right now in R&D, but still available at this point.
Like GPS and
exactly
stuff.
But I looked at this and I'm like, they actually had a keynote to talk about this, and I was okay. That's I'll give it to them. This is something I was not really expecting.
I'm having flashbacks to Will Smith and iRobot. Seriously. Because one of the big things about this car, from what I heard in the articles, was if you're driving down, since it's doing all the driving, you don't have to worry about it. If you don't like what's showing on the wall, you can have it show what's going on outside the car. Or if for whatever reason you're driving through the ghetto and you don't want to look at the ghetto and you want to look at Big Sur, hit a button, all the panels change, and you're suddenly looking at Big Sur.
Yeah. But I mean, I look at this idea, I'm like, this is definitely way out there in the future. I mean, it'd be very cool if I don't
think it's as far out as you think, honestly.
I honestly believe we'll actually see something like this in our lifetimes.
Oh, yeah, totally. We'll see it in our lifetime. I guarantee that.
But I do have to say one thing, though, about another thing about Mercedes-Benz is that they took a little odd side trip with showcasing this car. So in order to help people see the inside of this car without people rushing the stage and whatnot, usually you would bring some guy with wireless camera and whatnot to zoom in there and take a look at it.
Did they cut it open?
No, they didn't. They decided they wanted to create a character to help out with that. So they created a little robot, and it's called Cambot.
Oh, that's disgustingly adorable.
It was a giant big blue eye on 3 wheels with the Mercedes-Benz logo attached to it.
How tall is it?
It was something like 3.5 feet.
That's freaking adorable.
Yeah. I was like, Okay, come on. You kind of had me at Cambot. I didn't even see the car. I just want to see this.
I can't hear Cambot and not think of Mike and the Bots from MST3K.
Well, apparently to introduce Cambot before they brought out the car, so Cambot can actually get close in and give everybody a shot in the screens, they had this little video playing beforehand of like one of the CEO of Mercedes-Benz, this old German guy, interacting with these
Little Cambots?
no, with the CGI characters like these aliens or whatnot. Like I had a package, someone to help me out with this. Oh yes, and they were like asking like, "This is very weird. Are you a robot?" No, I'm from Germany.
Again, are you a robot?
Yeah. Well, I just laughed at through all the people, all the websites I was reading, the live blogs about it. Literally right after the presentation ended, there was a few people who were looking at the car and whatnot, but there was a swarm of people around Cambot.
Oh yeah. Cute wins every time. Cute and slightly creepy wins.
Yes. Speaking of car stuff, real quick before we move on, I know Audi had a little presentation as well with their new laser headlights and whatnot, which is actually pretty cool.
I heard about that. That's
Mercedes, BMW has a similar tech that they were showcasing with the i3s that actually looked very cool. But during the Audi keynote, they had some guy on stage and showcased a quick smartwatch that looked like an LG watch. That you use that you can actually call your car and open the doors to start and whatnot.
It'll park itself. You can tell it to meet you out front.
Here's the thing, though: a lot of the eagle-eyed journalists and they were like, "That looks like an LG watch, but that looks different." So literally, another thing, after their presentation, some people were looking at the car. A few journalists actually went to some of the people who had these watches and were able to not only take a closer look at them, then realize this isn't an Android watch. This is actually WebOS on a smartphone.
Nice.
Yeah. LG's been working behind the scenes making a mobile version of WebOS.
Nice.
I was like, that's a sneaky way to get it out there.
No, that's whoever the marketing genius was that came up with this idea needs to get a bonus this year.
Yeah. Like a lot of people were running, to these guys who had these watches. It looks really nice, actually. I like the design.
Is it looking like it's going to be a serious competitor for the Apple?
Honestly, I couldn't say, just because I haven't had enough time or I had any time with the interface for the Apple Watch. But looking at videos of people using Android Wear, and then splitting that over to people showing videos of people using this WebOS feature, this looks to be so much better designed for a wristwatch than Android Wear, that's a big thing to say.
Yeah, it is.
So,
although Android will catch up,
of course, Android will catch up. It's always
because it's all open source. So,
well, what was the other thing I wanted to share real quick? Surprisingly, there was something from Dell that I liked.
Yeah. What is this Razer Forge? Hold on.
Oh, I can bring that up too. Before we get to the Dell stuff, let's talk about the Razer. So Razer, as you know, likes to jump.
Oh, that thing. Okay.
They like to jump into everything tech. Remember last year they had was it Project Christine, which was that completely modular PC setup where everything was an individual part that just clicked in.
Yeah. That kind of has gone nowhere.
Yeah, that we never heard hide nor hair of it since then.
Yeah.
But they do have this, which is their Forge TV. And this is actually getting a lot of praise from the show floor. It has a decent spec lineup inside of it. It has a quad-core Snapdragon CPU, an Adreno 420 GPU. It has 802.11 AC Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, 2 gigs of RAM, 16 gigs of storage. Okay, so that's a standard Android games will play just perfectly fine on that. Well, the best thing about this is there's a little piece of tech in there called Cortex Stream that uses the Wi-Fi to give you, or claims to give you, low latency streaming from a source far more suitable to gaming than from a dinky Android box, namely your PC. So, take this thing, hook it up to your TV, start up Steam, and if you don't want to have a Steam box for your TV... I was going to say,
isn't that what Steam TV is supposed to be doing, though?
If you don't want to have a separate Steam box for that, you can use this little thing and just hook up from to your home PC.
Okay. that brings to mind one question, and this is something that I know that there are going to be some people out there, especially at the price point a lot of these things are coming in at. How many of these little hockey pucks am I supposed to have under my TV? I've only got
See, that's
3 HDMI ports on my
exactly.
TV.
Yeah, no, I completely. I'm running the same problem already. For the sole fact, I have a couple consoles. I have the cable box. I have my PC or my HD PC. I had to move my Chromecast to the other TV in the living room.
Well, that's the problem I've got. Is I've got a PS3, Xbox 360, a Wii, my HD PC, which is going into the VGA port on the back of my TV, and now an Apple TV. And I still have a component port open. I haven't done all my component connections, but
see, at that point, you might as well start investing in like a
HDMI switch,
an HDMI switch, or a home theater receiver. There's one I'm looking at right now that's on the low end in terms of price, but it has 6 HDMI 2.0 inputs and 1 out.
Yeah, there's Denon's got one that I really really like, but it's like $6,000. But it gives you balanced outs.
It's very nice. That's why the one I'm looking for is an Onkyo, because low end and it still is pretty decent. I can't afford anything Denon.
Yeah, but I'll take those balanced outs when I build my home theater.
Oh, he's so nice.
So yeah. Nice. I want to kick 1,200 watts per speaker. Hell yeah!
But
I want to feel those bass explosions.
Just have a sub underneath each seat of the couch. There you go.
Actually, there was an article I read once. Speaking of subs, there's a guy who built his home theater in his basement, and he actually dug out the floor in part of his basement as a bass channel for 36-inch subs, and he built the column into the ground around so that the wave could fully form before it comes out to the person, and then re-put the floor over that. Oh man, I would love to listen to watch Star Wars or something like that in that sound system.
Oh. Which, side note, real quick, they did make an announcement regarding Star Wars Celebration.
What is the announcement?
It's
sold out. We're not going. Damn it!
No, it's still, tickets are still available. They are going to be showing. They're creating a theater. I think they're partnering with some company for this theater. But they're going to show episode 3 on this big screen. But they've added to it in the sense that they've actually went back and made the entire thing 3D in post-production. So they're going to show episode 3 in 3D, which I
hope they did a better job with that than they did with Nightmare 3D.
Yeah,
Nightmare Before Christmas in 3D was ugh.
I'm hoping that Lucasfilm and ILM went through this and at least made it decent.
Well, for those, if they had ILM do it, I could see the 3D working, because they just go back and re-render everything. Go, oh, here, add a second camera.
Exactly.
Boom, here's a camera, here's a camera. Boom, there's your 3D. It's the live action interactions that I'm worried about.
Yes, very much so. Excuse me. But yeah,
although it's all shot digital, so they could.
You never know. But going back to the whole thing with like the Razer Forge and all these devices coming out for your TV. Has there really been one out there that will actually cover everything that you would need it to do? Because for me, everything just falls short of actually completing every single thing that I would need to connect to my TV. And I'm sure that's they made sure that was the point, so you have to buy others. But
yeah. Well, then the welcome to a free market economy. But
yeah.
And that's what a lot of that is, the fact that we're in a free market economy.
Yeah, I can't think of really much there at that point, because of the sole fact that there's some cool stuff on Apple TV that works within the iOS environment, but you can't get that with anything else. Roku is a very solid platform from when I've used it, but it doesn't have all the features that I want. This Razer Forge, it's a conglomeration of everything else that pretty much everything out there already has. So
honestly, what I think's going to do it, if anything, if they actually get one to market, is going to be the Steam box, because it basically is a PC running Steam OS.
Yes, very true.
And I could totally see that if anybody's going to take it, if they get off their ass and put one on or get something more tangible to market, if anything's going to do it, I'd say it's going to be the Steam box.
I will actually disagree with you with that because I think there's another company that'll get to it first and actually probably do a little better. And that's Google. Because Generation 2 of the Chromecast is out, but it's a very minor spec boost. It doesn't really change anything.
Mm-hmm.
But when they do the next major boost to the Chromecast, like to do 4K streams or who knows what else for that thing, I think that could possibly be the end-all device for me. I mean, yes, Intel has his whole.
Well, because you can throw your PC to it, or what?
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping to do. I mean, you can already do it with your Android devices. You can mirror that to your screen, but with PCs, I don't know. I would like to see a Chromecast that's beefed the hell out and that can actually.
But at that point, it's not going to be that little teeny puck anymore. It's going to be more like the Apple TV or the Razer pucks. Honestly, it's going to be like one of those.
Which honestly, I'd be perfectly fine with. Or, given the fact that Intel is showcasing a stick that's no larger than the Amazon Fire Stick, that's a full-fledged, it's like a quad-core Atom processor, and you can use Windows 8.1 on this little tiny stick. So if Google works with Intel to make this, done. I'm good. But that's just me, though. It will never stop me from hooking up an actual computer to my TV because you're like me, and there's only so much a tiny little device can do.
Although, speaking of hooking stuff up, we talked about all the TVs and the curved screens and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that got a really big showing at CES this year were the 4K projectors.
Yes, that's very true.
4K projectors that, because who wants to spend the money for a 105-inch screen? Okay, if I had the money, I would. But that's not the point.
Exactly.
I mean, you can buy a 105-inch screen, but why stop at 105 inches when you can get a 4K projector that you can just take up the entire freaking wall and broadcast at 4K, full frame rate, clean, crisp color.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had the guys who did the nanocrystals?
Yes.
For the coloring. That one I'm curious about. Would supposedly increase your color saturation exponentially.
Just imagine the level of calibration and customization you can do at that point.
Mm-hmm.
That would be absolutely incredible to be able to do stuff like that. And I know Sony's probably one of those out there who's going to be first out the gate with all of this tech. But then again, it's also going to be like $50,000 for this damn thing. So,
That's not the 40. Is that the Sony 4K?
This is the low-end Sony 4K one.
Yeah, that's the prosumer one, right?
Yes.
This had like a 6K price tag?
Little higher, 10K.
Okay.
This is their low end, which is 10K. Their high end, which is their laser powered one, is about $50,000.
Yeah, then I could see conventions renting those.
Oh yeah. Well, when they have these ultra short throw abilities with the high end one, the laser projectors, where it's like, yeah, just put it on the floor and like 3 inches from the wall, and the entire wall is a giant screen.
Oh wow, it's got that tight of a throw?
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's one of those that I'm seeing all this tech, and it's getting better and better. I'm just waiting for the price to drop, another generation or two.
Yeah.
Be so nice.
Of course, by then that same projector will be this.
Yeah. Pretty much. All right. Well, there is so much stuff to talk about at CES. I think we covered the big points on it.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're going to roll it up, it's like if you're going to roll it up into categories, the categories break down to drones, cars,
curved
TVs, projectors, which fits under TVs. And like you put in the notes, 4K everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll have to see what happens later on this year. You still have the Mobile World Congress and a couple other major tech events throughout the world. So
one of the things I was kind of saddened by, not a lot of audio stuff.
No, the only major audio thing that I possibly could find up was actually Samsung announcing they were getting into the audio market.
Which has potential.
It does. But then again, you're gonna need at least a couple generations to work out the kinks on all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, and Belty.
Yeah, you get the whole what the fuck section in this one little corner. It's kind of like Kensha Hall at the LA Convention Center. Things that go down in that hall are just things that will probably never see the light of day, but you go down there just for the laughs.
Oh, the laughs and oh my god, it's actually kind of cool. Never happened, but it's kind of cool. It's the what if department.
Yeah, I took a 3D joystick and an Oculus Rift. What can I make with these two things? Japan, shut up.
Got news for you. Japan's already on it.
I know.
I was reading the other day. There are 2 companies that have partnered. I don't remember which ones on an Aerogay for the Oculus Rift.
Oh no.
Oh yes. You can have your 3D porno date sims right out the box.
As a friend of mine is famous for saying, "God damn it, Japan."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Only in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
For now.
Yeah, for now. Well, speaking of stuff that's here now, Michael, what have you been watching?
Oh, what have I been watching? Well, as I mentioned at the top of the hour, or hour and a half, or whatever the hell we're at now.
Hour.
I injured my elbow this week. So I was stuck on the couch for 3 days. And so I fired up the old HBO Go. And, well, first off, I got caught up on Constantine, up to the season finale. What the F? It's really interesting because Nikki watched them with me, and she was telling me how it's one of the few comic to TV adaptations they've gotten right. Where they haven't exactly followed the comics. I mean, where they've deviated, it's been logical, and it was done well. It's are you current on it?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Obviously, the cliffhanger is annoying, but we already know they're coming back, so
yep.
John's not going to die.
No.
And that's not a spoiler. But I want to see what's going on with Zed.
Yes.
But that's another one of those things where they did they're following really close to the comic because Nikki told me about the original what happens in the original comics with Zed and what she's supposed to be, and they're kind of going down that road. I mean, it's changed around a bit, but then there's stuff they've invented just for the TV, like the stuff with Manny and Imogen. Wasn't in the comics.
But the thing is, though, they were.
But it works.
Yeah, they were able to blend that into the source material.
Exactly. So I mean,
well.
Flash, Arrow, while they're good on their own, need to pay attention to Constantine.
Yes. yes, they do.
Constantine's team is doing it right. So I got that. The other day, I know this is going to make me a bad anime person, but keep in mind, I was staffing Expo when this came out. I was staffing Expo in a semi-important position that took a lot of time, so I didn't get to watch a lot of anime. Finally started watching Naruto from the beginning. Made it halfway through. Yeah, I know. It's actually surprisingly good once you get, but I see why they call it Naruto Ball Z. It's actually pretty good.
Alrighty.
I'm not going to become a Narutard or anything like that, but...
Dude, if I see you walk around trying to do sexy no jutsu, I'm going to just smack you.
Please. No. Though there are a few other things I wouldn't mind having access to. But no, it's actually surprisingly good, and surprisingly close to the manga so far. I know there's a point where they deviate.
Massively.
And once we hit that... Nikki's read all the manga, so once we hit that point and they deviate, we're just going to say screw it and jump over to Shippuden.
Just to let you know, there are websites out there that will do you the favor of letting you know which episodes are just filler and which ones are actually part of the story arc. So you know which ones to skip.
Hey, I'll have to look into that.
Because that saved my ass at least a couple 100 hours in trying to catch up on One Piece.
Okay,
It
fair
was
enough.
like, okay, episode 1 through 30, so 32 to 36, and then you get to episode 90. Yeah, skip episode 90, 91 to like 130. I'm like, okay, cool.
Well, it's like Bleach is the same thing. Bleach from
Yes.
episode, was it 110 through 205 or 7 or something like that,
That was,
is all
yep.
filler,
Mm-hmm.
which is why it got really stupid.
Oh, yes.
So it started doing that, and I'm actually kind of enjoying parts of it. There's a couple. What's funny is there's a couple of the instructor characters that I really like, and I'm going to be really pissed off if they knock them off.
Kakashi?
Kakashi's awesome, actually. I've got new respect for Kakashi.
He is still
he's
one of my
actually
favorite
pretty
characters.
badass.
Yeah.
But the other one, the oh, what is her name? Iriko, the one who's hosting the second part of the Chunin exam.
I don't remember.
Used to work for Orochimaru.
I'm drawing a blank.
Anko's her name.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm kind of digging her. So there's that. Let's see what else I've been watching. Oh yeah, I fired up the old HBO Go, and I'd heard that the show was good, but I hadn't actually watched it. So I started watching and quickly got addicted to The Newsroom on HBO. It's an Aaron Sorkin series. For those of you who don't know, Aaron Sorkin is the guy who brought us The West Wing.
Win.
A total win. This series also, I wouldn't say it's total win, but it's really good. There are a couple parts that are kind of dumb. There's a couple times where you get the idea that certain characters are trying to brain us into being liberals, but overall, it's a good show, and they work in enough real world events
Mm-hmm.
into their storyline to keep the timeline straight, and they do it well. And what shocked me more than anything else in the show is that Olivia Munn can actually act. Yeah, I know. I didn't think it was possible after watching her jump into the chocolate pudding pie
With the maid outfit.
with the maid outfit. After I saw it, I'm like, going, this woman is got a future in porn. That's it. No, she can actually act when she wants to.
Okay.
And she apparently speaks Japanese fluently, so she got a little more respect in my eyes.
That's impressive.
Yes, it impressed the hell out of me too when they did, because they brought in the Fukushima thing,
Mm-hmm.
and they're talking to the guy from TEPCO supposedly, and she's the one doing the translating, and I'm hearing him talk and I'm hearing her translate, and then I'm hearing, which is, obviously, okay, you got a script, yeah, okay, she read the script,
Right.
but her parts where she's actually talking, there's a difference when someone who actually natively speaks
And
someone who's memorized the script.
Yes.
There's something you could tell there.
Mm-hmm.
It just flowed too natural. So I looked it up and I'm like, holy shit, she actually speaks Japanese. Oh my God.
That's pretty awesome.
That's pretty impressive. So yeah, I got hooked on that. If you have the time, I mean, I've marathoned I'm up through halfway through the second season. And there's 3 seasons total out right now.
Okay.
Do yourself a favor and watch it. It's really good.
I'll add it to my list, and I already have a ton of lists of stuff to watch, and I'll get to that just a moment when you're done.
Enjoy your snark filter, because the writing, some of the comebacks in this show are hilarious.
Awesome. I will definitely be looking forward to that.
Sorkin's really good with dialogue.
Well, Sorkin's always been very good with dialogue.
Oh yeah, this is
That's
Sorkin
why
Sorkin at his best with a little bit of Tarantino thrown in.
See, that's why I'm looking more forward to more than the Steve Jobs biopic that came out earlier with Ashton Kutcher.
Mm-hmm. Which I heard was actually surprisingly decent.
Sorkin is been working on the script for his own. It's not necessarily a biopic. It's basically what goes on behind
biopic.
Biopic. I say biopic. Sorry.
Okay, so you see in stereo. Congratulations.
Sorry. Fine.
Sorry, inner grammar Nazi jumped out.
I know. Thank you. Yeah, he's working on another Steve Jobs movie, but this focuses behind the scenes of like 3 major presentations that he worked on, which is like the Macintosh, I think the iPhone, and I think like the iPad or something like that.
Okay.
So I'm actually looking forward to that.
That has potential.
But as for the newsroom, I will definitely add it to my list. I know my list has been growing ever steadily. It's included things like
Trust me, you won't be disappointed. As someone who, as people who do podcasts,
Mm-hmm.
and people who have aspired to journalistic tendencies,
Mm-hmm.
You will love this show.
Okay, I'll add it to it. Although I already confirmed to myself that I will be starting, because I've been told many times to watch it. Parks and Rec. I'll be starting that later on this week.
Yeah, and it's on its farewell season, so I may end up
Exactly.
marathon burning it when it's done.
Yeah. So.
Although Overman, what is it? Not Keith. What is his first name? Cliff.
I think it was you. I don't remember. Sorry.
Either way, he's awesome.
Okay. All right. For me, I haven't really watched too much except for a few anime series because the winter season started, and yeah. I'll just mention 3 real quick. Kantai Collection. Started off as it's still going on as massively popular web game or browser game.
Mm-hmm.
Turned to manga and a bunch of other stuff and a bunch of collectibles. But the anime came out, and I was like, all right, I'll give this a shot. Let me see what this is all about. And I was hoping for something with some decent warfare into it. But instead, no, I got Strike Witches.
Oh, really? It's
Yeah.
a remake of Strike Witches,
Well,
basically?
I mean, it's essentially like the same style for me at least.
Okay.
There's so much more they could have done with it, and I'm hoping it actually gets better. But the first episode just reeked of Strike Witches for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. That reminds me of something else that we'll do as a closer before we finish. But please continue.
Okay. Another one that I saw, Durarara X2, the second season has finally started.
Really?
Right off
It
the
only
bat-
took them what, 4 years?
something like that. But just watching the first episode, I went, yes, need more. If you were a fan of the first one, it jumps right back into it. It's so good. So good. The third one, the final one I'm going to talk about is Aldnoah Zero. Because
I've heard of that.
this is Gen Urobuchi at his finest / worst / fuck you, Gen Urobuchi.
Okay. Clarify, please.
Okay, Gen Urobuchi is the master in anime of someone who loves to take all your hopes and dreams and crushes them in the most ridiculous and just heart-wrenching ways.
Oh, so like Clannad.
Yeah, kinda.
Or Saikano?
It's a little more Saikano. Gen Urobuchi also
Okay,
did
this
like
is a series Michael will not be watching.
this,
Okay.
this is more along the lines like the Fate series or
Okay.
So
not quite as bad as Clamp, but close?
well, he was also
Because Clamp's evil.
well, he was also behind Monica.
Oh!
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is why you should get in. You should watch the first season.
No, I still have... well, we've had that conversation.
I know, but that goes both ways. You got me on a couple series. I'm going to try to get you on Aldnoah Zero. It's only like 13 episodes for the first season. Really well done. Great mech battles. I love the twists and turns that Gen Urobuchi just puts into all of this.
Okay.
And it ended not so much on a cliffhanger, but literally what the ever living fuck just happened at the end of the last episode. And then we come to this, and I'm like, oh, you son of a bitch, I hate you. So it's one of those that gets you really pissed off about it, but you still want to watch it.
Okay, fair enough.
So
what else have you been watching, or is that it?
that's pretty much it. I watched Agent Carter. Actually, kind of liked it.
So did I. That's the other one I watched. Sorry, I haven't
worries.
caught this week's episode. I'm actually kind of liking it. It was Nikki brought out some points that it's in some ways it's the typical, smart dame outsmarting those misogynistic guys
Oh yes.
in the 40s. But so there is a bit of that. But it's an enjoyable show, and the dialogue's pretty damn good.
It is, and the fact that the pace moves at such a quick pace, I actually like that because they already know they have a final date. They only have 8 hours to go through everything that they need to for this story arc, so they're able to move fairly quickly, and I actually really appreciate and enjoy that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not worried about what's going to happen in 4 months' time. I know it's going to end in like 7 episodes, so.
Well, I've seen all I've seen are Ep 1, which was the pilot, and then Ep 2.
Yes.
And I obviously they're not. They can't obviously do what they're implying they're gonna do to Stark because, well, that would kind of negate the future.
Exactly.
But how much you want to bet that the butler isn't really married?
Oh yeah, that's already pretty much I thought was a given.
And he's secretly setting up Carter with him, or not so secretly, as the case may be. But the butler is definitely not what he seems.
Oh, of course.
Totally not what he seems.
Like, I honestly think he would fit in perfectly fine with like the Kingsman.
Yeah, which is coming out soon, finally.
Yes, in about a month and 2 days from now, on February 13th.
I can't wait till that comes out.
That's gonna be so much fun to watch.
I will go out of my way to see that one in the theater. One last thing before we go.
Mm-hmm.
Something that Shadar pointed me to from, I believe it was an Engadget story.
Okay.
I've sent you the link in
I do see it.
In AIM. I'm now posting it in, oops, wrong button. I'm now posting it into the chat room for those that are watching live. There is a website that basically has archived, it's a software library of all the old MS-DOS games.
It's a government website. It's archive.org.
Right. It's an archive.org site. 1,400 or 2,400 of these games.
All these old
actually,
school
I'm sorry,
games.
it's up to 2,301 now.
The original SimCity, Oregon Trail, Prince of Persia, Castle Wolfenstein.
Yes. You can die of dysentery in your own web browser. It's got
Where in the world
Lemmings,
is Carmen
Lemmings
Sandiego?
2. And all you have to do to fire them up is click on them, and it really works. I've tested it. It works.
Let's see if it'll show up on the screen. Click to begin. Move this down. Oh, let me turn up the volume.
And it's even at the same crappy res, the whole 9 yards.
Oh, man. Push disk Q and drive A.
I don't know what punch or kick is. You have to read the instructions.
Screw reading the instructions. I'll find it. Push all the buttons. It doesn't work.
I was just going through this thing, and some of these are games that weren't on DOS.
Oh,
For
really?
example, Lemmings, I don't recall ever being on DOS. I recall Lemmings being on Apple, Amiga, and Atari ST.
Mm-hmm.
So,
oh, it doesn't have the information. Oh well, that's cool though. That's very cool.
this is something you want to waste several hours. The memory lane going down through this. The original Metal Gear is here. The Maniac Mansion, the original. Battle Chess, the original Battle Chess is here.
Wow, I'm gonna spend so much time on this.
Oh, dude, you can waste so many hours just in nostalgia theater in this place. The site is, I bookmarked it immediately as soon as she showed it to me, and I saw what it was. This is awesome.
That is amazing. That's cool. Thank you for sharing that. That's cool.
Hey, you guys are more than welcome. Enjoy.
And bookmarked.
And with that,
yeah, I think it's a good place to end for tonight.
oh, the original SimCity, I forgot about that.
All right, guys. I want to thank you so much for hanging out. As always, we will be back next week. Barring life getting in the way, I don't think that's going to happen. You never know, but we will try to be here next week. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Stay tuned for post show.
Short though it may be.
Short though, I have just a quick video to share, and then we'll probably call it after that.
Then you're going to run over to Geneva and create a character, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
All right.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out From My Mother's Basement. I'm Jason.
And I am Michael.
And we will see you guys next week. Take it easy, everybody.
Later, all.